destination your goal. Make the trip your goal.
Being such a worldly adventurer, Stephanie has so many years of experience under her belt. Very recently, she had to change course of her adventure and go on a completely different adventure that she had not planned, because she assessed the risk and she knew what risks were worth taking and what risks were not. And it is how important, she obviously knows how important it is to be safe. I absolutely respect her for that. And I wanted her to share the tips for what is it that we can do to keep ourselves safe and yet undertake any adventure that we want to take. What are the things that we should do? What are the things that we should not do? So here we have Stephanie today with us, sharing all the wisdom that she has gathered all over these years in next 10 minutes. For us. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for being here and sharing this with us.
You have seen a lot, you have experienced a lot. I'm sure you must have paid some price for it. What is the biggest sacrifice that you have ever made to have the life that you have had?
Wow. Well, it took me a few extra years to get my degree. I have to get my transcripts from about 13 different colleges, universities. So I was in and out of my education, but I think that made it more meaningful to me. I always was going to get educated, but I think the trip in the Middle East and in Egypt and North Africa was amazing, and it was really intense. And so there's always a little bit of PTSD stuff, from having to be so hyper vigilant and a woman, not heavy duty or anything like that, but there's always, that kind of reaction. But it also taught me how to be in the world and be safe and be low keyed. And like, I know how to, not that I could always be safe, but I have so many ways to prevent myself from being noticed, or bringing attention to me, or those kinds of things, so I can remain safe. But so I don't know. I mean, friends and family, spend a lot of time away from them. That's hard. And the truth is, when you come back from traveling, people are like, "Oh, how was your trip? How did it go?" And they want to know a couple of things, and you get about 5 minutes, and then it's kind of done, because experience is experience, and people aren't going to want to know what my everyday was like and how this and what I went through. It's just the truth of it. It's not that people aren't kind or aren't compassionate. It's just not of their realm of experience. So I learned from my first trip that when you get home, if you're not traveling for yourself and your own personal growth and knowledge, then you shouldn't be traveling. It's not about ego, and it's not about all these other things, and people aren't going to be, "Hi, it's all about you. It's about what you give while you're traveling and what you get back." And so I think it's a real individual, personal journey. I've learned that.
It's just to listen to it from you sounds so beautiful.
But what's the reality?
You mentioned a little bit about safety, and you kind of have strategies on how to be safe. Can you say a little bit more about that? Because that's the main concern most women have when they want to go on travel, especially if they want to go alone.
Yes, and I travel a lot alone. I mean, I've been driving all over for the last 10 years. My family's up in Canada, family down in southern Arizona. I travel a lot, and I always sleep in my car. I was raised to, like, why would you pay to sleep in a motel? If I'm going to sleep, if I'm at a rest stop, I'll get ready for bed, do whatever I need to do. But I won't sleep there. I'll go to another place, because people have seen me and then I'm alone in a car. So then I have my bed made in the back, everything ready, and I just slip into sleep. So nobody knows a woman alone in a car sleeping. I'm good at finding places out of the way to sleep. I found this great, this feels like a hack. Sometimes when you're stuck and you're in a town or small town, there's construction sites, and I can pull in there. They have porta potties, which I don't really want to use, but so it looks like I'm the guard for the site for the night. So I can pull in there and sleep without being hassled. I mean, there's all these little tricks you learn on the road. It's like, and I sometimes end up where all the homeless people are, or if I can't find a place, I ask them where they stay, and I make coffee for everybody in the morning, and I learn their stories, and I learn that, they're not that different than me. I'm just lucky, So safety, I do safety things like that. On the trip, I have a vest with like 12 pockets in it. So all my safety gear, my satellite phone, and, little things that I might need to build a fire and survive for a few days if I fall out of the boat and it goes off without me, I have ropes. I have a long stern line, and I have knots in it, and then I have loops where it comes down off the boat, so I can get my feet in and get back in the boat, especially if I'm hypothermic from being in the water. I've put cleats around the inside of the boat so that I can I run a rope through it and everything's tied down, but I can also hook my belt onto it. So if I get caught in a squall and I'm scared and I'm not sure when I'm making shore, I'm tied in, the boat goes over, everything floats, I float, we all float together, until we bump into some land, and I still have all my gear and I'm still functioning. I sleep on islands in the middle of the river so the bears can see me from a long way away. It keeps down mosquitoes as well. I don't go up creeks because that's where the bears are fishing, and that's where the mosquitoes will make me insane. I have scenarios that I run in my head for all possibilities. Sometimes the moose are crossing the river with young, and moose are huge, and they can be aggressive, especially if they have young. So I have a pike pole and a way to get around the moose and things like that. I don't know. I have a sail I can throw up if I have a backwind. I have solar power. Keep things charged, so the sat phone has an emergency buttons on it, 2 buttons that you move, and sends out your GPS coordinates and SOS. So they'll text you if you need to be taken out, they'll be there. If you don't answer, they'll come get you. Those kinds of things didn't exist before. You just had to go by the grace of God and hope that you made it. But now, and I like this because I am older, I'm not as strong, and I'm wiser, maybe. I'm maybe a little more focused, but I need to have those opportunities to.
Has it made it more fun or less fun because of all these gadgets and all these things available?
There's a part of me that just wants to go tech free, just do it the old fashioned way. And because I'm a bit of a purist, I never use a motor, I've always, but there's also a part of me that if I want to continue to do these adventures, I need to be able to be safe, and I need my family and the people who love me to feel like I'm safe. So it's kind of a toss up. I'm hoping to be really present. Sure, I have the sat phone and I have a solar panel. I can charge up some things, but it's not like I'm going to sit there and play on my phone or listen to music or because I can charge my phone with the whole idea is to be present in the moment, but to have resources if we need them.
It's technology when needed, only for what it's needed.
Right, yeah.
I guess we could use that formula to have better life right here also.
You're right. I mean, I think, of course, I'm the generation that goes, oh my gosh, everybody's always looking at their phone. So many people, I think they're talking to me and they're not, when you walk down the street. Or you kind of look and then you talk to people and they're really not even having a conversation with you. They're on something you can't see.
You said that things need to be experienced on your own, but I'm going to cling on to you like I'm going to suck it from your experiences and share it with other people.
And that's part of the empowerment of women. We share each other's experience. Well, men and women, but sometimes are less able or feel less confident to do these kinds of things. And so I experience things vicariously through people all the time, but I'm also a kinesthetic learner. So until I do it, I don't get it in me. But definitely, if I have the ability, I'm going to be taking, like I said, lots of little videos, and I'm going to do a day-by-day journal of my campsite. And I think I'm doing a journal of me, just a selfie, and I'm going to run it together as a fast movie, like how we change, if you see the change, in your face from 3 months in the middle of nowhere. My hair will be longer.
What advice do you give to someone who wants to go on an adventure like yours, especially women?
Do your research, go over your planning, run your scenarios, check your gear, and then go in with an open heart, and stay present, stay focused every minute, and be open to learning what you can learn. The other really big piece is don't make the destination your goal. Make the trip your goal. Like, I might not make it to the Bering Straits. It might be too hard. The weather might change. So I'm just floating the river. Whether I get to Amonic or not, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to just go out there and have an experience that is safe and works for me. And I'm determined. I don't give up. Oh, it's raining. I had to sit in my tent for 2 days. That stuff doesn't bother me. But don't go out when it's unsafe. Don't push yourself to the end if you're sick. Know yourself and be smart, be reasonable, and make the journey the lesson and the experience, not the destination.
I feel like I'm sitting in front of a person who has answers for everything, has everything figured out, and she knows exactly where she is going, and she's going to do it.
I've done what I can, and then the universe will have to provide. I can let go. That's the thing. You do everything you can, then you let go. And we'll see. And I don't have ego engaged. If I only make it to Fort Yukon, or no, I'll make it past there, but Yukon Crossing or Galena or someplace along the way, that's okay. I've had a great journey, and because there was a guy I met who had to pull out because the winds were so bad he couldn't get around the point, and he waited it out for quite a few days. And so I know that those things can happen, and I'm okay. I want women to know they can get out there and do stuff, more than they think. And with a little bit of effort, start walking, start getting in shape. Like, I see so many women my age that are done, and I hope I can do this when I'm 80. And I think, and I've seen with the new generation coming up, they're much more into fitness and doing things and staying strong. And women in their 30s, are doing CrossFit and all this stuff. And when I was in my 30s, I'm the only person who throw a football, So I like that it's changing, and I like, and it doesn't have to be negative, but as women, we can do more than we think, and we just have to have rules for ourselves, and do the prevention. I mean, I've worked for 25 years with kids who are emotionally disturbed, and it can be incredibly aggressive, and the whole thing is prevention. 99% build relationship and prevent, so that behavior doesn't happen. And so we have to be preventative, and then we just have to have fun,